Boom, baby. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the latest episode of Tuesday Night Tailgate. I know Mock Draft Guy is not in the house tonight. He is actually in Mexico on vacation. So you got your boys filling in for one more week. As always, your boy TK in the house representing what? The Fanatics Network. That's right. No longer that dirty, rotten, stinky name anymore. We are now the Fanatics Network. As you know, after our big rebranding party that we did Saturday night, which was a hell of a time. Go back and check that out. We had the whole crew plus more all night. A lot of fun on that we had. And then we had Sunday, which was awesome. And we're back. Tuesday Night Tailgate. We are back to review. We're not really going to review it. We're just going to quickly run over the scores of week one's matchups. We're going to talk about our biggest surprise of week one, or I think one bold thing that's going to happen going forward for the rest of the season. And then we're going to give our picks for week two. But as always, your boy is not alone. I got my guys in the house with me, right next to me. That way. I was right the first time. That way. My boy, Dirty Dango. And not only was Sunday special because NFL was back, but we had the debut episode of Outrage Control featuring my boy Dirty Dango and writer Chaos Kayla. Dango, how are you doing tonight, brother?
I'm ready for some week two of some football action. Ready to break down week one with you guys.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, we got a lot to break down. There's a lot of craziness that happened last week for sure. And we got the host of the Don't Field Advantage podcast, the co-host of the World Elite podcast, my guy representing New Orleans Saints, Dylan A. Bear. What is up, brother? Thank you for joining us tonight.
Hey, man, I'm doing good. And, being that my team out of all of us is the only one that got a win this week, I'm excited to get into week two, seeing if the Saints team can keep the high that they're currently on right now.
You just had to go and throw that on. You notice I'm not wearing my jersey. You notice I'm not
either. I'm not either.
There's a certain reason for all of that for sure. But hey, while you're here, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. We got great stuff all week long, as always. Right after this show, we got the director's cut, which is actually sticking with football. Talking about the Little Giants. Graydon's talking about the Little Giants. Who doesn't love the Little Giants? The annexation of Puerto Rico. Rick Moranis. I'll always call him Ed Bundy forever. Jay Pritchett. Ed O'Neill is his real name, but you know him as Ed Al Bundy and Jay Pritchett from Modern Family. Great movie. Just a fantastic movie. So go back and see what G's got going on that tonight. Plus, we have so much other great content. Tomorrow, we got the Universal Wrestling podcast. Then we got the AEW Dynamite Review Show with Dirty Dango. Fuck, I miss Dylan. I always forget that you got the two nights going, man. That's on me. We're starting with Don't Field Advantage podcast, going into the Universal Wrestling podcast, and then the AEW Dynamite Review Show. Dylan's going to have Kayla on his show tomorrow, so I'm very excited to see what she's got to talk about with the Carolina Panthers, as that's the big, bad Monday night game this week. We got the Saints and the Panthers. Ooh-wee! Monday Night Football.
That's a terrible Monday night game.
Horrible Monday night game. But fellas,
it's only terrible on one end. It's not terrible on both sides. Terrible just on one end.
True. That's true. True.
I mean, at least you get Monday. At least you get Monday to yourself.
Yeah. You get the Monday Night Football, which is nice, no doubt. But we had a wild week one. I had a crazy week one myself. I was lucky enough to get to go to the Bears game. I mean, it wasn't lucky. That game was the worst. I've been to a lot of bad games in my life. That was the worst Bears game that I have ever been to in my life. And I was at the Chris Conte 4th and 7 play where Randall Cobb caught the ball, 50-yard touchdown pass. Bears missed the playoffs because of it. I was in a lot of bad Jay Cutler games. Oh, just so many bad. A lot of bad. But this game, we had expectations. All right, we were supposed to be better than on par with the Packers this year. We were favored to win the game. No AaronRodgers, and what happens? Jordan Love just comes in and outplays the heck out of us all game. That was awful. The game itself was awful. But the experience was great. Tailgating was so much fun. What's the name? Tuesday Night Tailgate. What did I do on Sunday? I tailgated like crazy. That's why I'm so red. I sun beat my ass, and my neck is fried. I was sitting there grilling for 15 plus. Just an amazing day. We got to hold the American flag on the field, literally run the flag out backwards 50 yards this way. Chase Claypool, he sucks, but Chase Claypool was literally 3 yards behind me as I'm holding this flag with 60,000 people as the Blackhawks, the guy who sings the Blackhawks national anthem, Jim Corneliuson, best national anthem in the world, was singing the national anthem. Oh my God, what an experience that was for me. It was just an amazing, I was doing it with my best friends, with my wife, just an awesome experience. And the game started and it was awful. But the tailgate was great. The flag holding was awesome. Dango, before Dylan gets to brag about his Sunday, how was your Sunday with your team?
There's a I heard the kid. Yeah, my Sunday was good. It was, besides from my Patriots losing on a 4th down going for it, when Bill should have kicked a field goal twice before, where he should have kicked it earlier in the game, and then he would have only had to kick it again there. But oh well, he put one foot in. It was a good call. The first they called it a catch, but then they reviewed it. Didn't call it a catch. Got it overturned. It's only 1 foot down. It's a rookie kid. Still thought he was in college. Oh well. Dylan, let's talk about yours.
Yeah, so like I mentioned, we were the only ones out of all three of us that my team actually won, but it was a close one. And like I mentioned on my show yesterday, it was ugly. And it honestly, like I said, I'd rather win ugly than lose pretty. And it was a 1-point victory and some questionable calls on both ends. I know that there was a one where I think Derek Carr, his arm was, I think, maybe coming forward, but I think the ball, maybe it came out. The refs blew it dead, and that led to a Titans touchdown, but it didn't stand. And luckily for us, because for one, we would have lost because, we scored one touchdown, the lone touchdown in the game. But, honestly, the team looked decent. Derek Carr obviously got a lot of criticism in this game. He struggled a lot in the red zone, something we knew we were getting out of Derek Carr when we signed him from Vegas. And he did. He overthrew like crazy. But he made one of the most important plays of the game. That 41-yard strike to Rashid Shaheed was fantastic. And then he threw the lone touchdown of the game to Shaheed as well. So, people talk about Olave, who went over 100 yards, talk about Michael Thomas. The return of Michael Thomas actually stayed healthy and played well in that game. But Rashid Shaheed is the one that you can highlight because he caught that one that really sealed the game, and he caught the lone touchdown. So I'm excited about the week 2 matchup against Carolina. I love the early NFC South test. The NFC South went 3-1 this week, which is wild. And the one loss came from Carolina, who went against an NFC South team. So obviously we couldn't go undefeated, but I'm honestly shocked that we came out the weekend with a winning record.
Yeah, very surprised, as that's probably the worst division in football. So definitely surprising. Let's hit the chat before we run down the games from last week. We got our boy, as we just said, he's going live right after us. Great in the bin buster, host of Director's Cut. What is up, my guy? He loves tailgating in Tuesdays, man. We love you, G. We love you. What is up, JD? First lady, crazy week 1. Yo, 40-0. What was it? 40-0? Is that what it was? Dallas over the Giants. My God. No one expected that. That was a shellacking. Justin, our brother, what is up, my guy, man? Miss you up too sweet you. Can't wait to hang out with you soon. Thanks for tuning in, bro. Nick, Universal Wrestling Podcast, thank you for making this look so pretty. As always, appreciate you and everything you do. Thanks for tuning in. Go Birds. Your Birds beat Dango's team. Not much of a surprise there. They should have. Maybe a little closer than it should have been, but road games are always a grind, so a win is a win. Big win for the Birds. And Dylan, I'll let you make this introduction.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. One of my biggest supporters coming into this, she watches all my stuff, so it's not a surprise having her here.
Awesome. What's up? Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in and being here for sure. No doubt. Really quick, I'll catch my breath and then let's run it, right? All right, last week we had some crazy action. So we did our predictions last week. It was a really fun show we did right here on Tuesday Night Tailgate. Thursday Night Football. Lions beat the Chiefs 21-20. Texans going on to Sunday. The Ravens beat the Texans 25-9. The Browns beat the Bengals 24-3. Buccaneers beat the Vikings 20-17. Saints beat the Titans 16-15. Falcons beat the Panthers 24-10. The Jaguars beat the Colts 31-21. 49ers whooped on the Steelers 30-7. Commanders beat Arizona in a close game 20-16. The Raiders edged out Denver on the road 17-16. Jimmy G was incredibly efficient again. Crazy. The Dolphins and the Chargers, as we said last week, was going to be a high-scoring battle. 70 total points. Tua walks away with the win, 466 yards passing, 215 of which is Tyreek Hill. Tua and the Dolphins go on the road and take one from the Chargers, 36-34. The Packers just beat the Bears. And this final score wasn't even reminiscent of the game because they just beat us down, 38-20. Woof. This one, big shock. Rams beat the Seahawks 30-13 on the road. Seahawks actually had a 10-7 halftime lead, so all that damage was done after the half. Kind of wild. And
wow.
The Cowboys beat the Giants 40-0. They had 7 sacks. They won the turnover battle. Just a crazy game. And then Monday Night Football. And that'll be the first topic we talk about. Monday Night Football. We had this big touted matchup at MetLife Stadium. Aaron Rodgers. And I mean, my God, you want to talk about a moment, right? 9/11, September 11th. It's in New York, the Meadowlands, Jersey. You got Aaron Rodgers with the American flag on his new team on his $85 million contract, running out positive as ever. 4 plays into his offensive drive, he is done. Aaron Rodgers tears his Achilles, and he is out for the season. He's already being very positive about the whole situation, saying he's just going to rehab, get healthy, and show up next year and be ready. But listen, looking at that game last night, now you can say Josh Allen just played like a big bag of crap, which is totally acceptable and fine because he played like a big bag of crap. Or the Jets' defense is just really good. Plus, you look at that running game. Breece Hall balled out. Dalvin Cook looked really good. And Garrett Wilson is that dude. He is him, as we know. So after that game last night, where do you think with Rodgers the Jets would have ended up? And, I mean, I guess it goes hand in hand with this injury and how it affects the Jets. I mean, Dylan, let's start with you, bro.
So honestly, I think it affects the Jets horribly, because Robert Saleh did say that this is Zach Wilson's team now. I don't think he's making any sort of change. I was looking into replacements. I was looking, honestly, I know the top person on that list, and call me crazy, but Tom Brady, I think, is the top person on that list. Because looking at Sunday, Tom Brady, Tom Brady wants to go. He still wants to play. That's the thing.
Yeah, because he was too busy running around our Foxborough, freaking running at halftime, doing his jersey pump, running out with his old jersey, doing the fist pump to the other side. So it's just like, wouldn't that be funny? Yeah. He does that week 1, and then by week 3 he comes in as a New York Jet.
He'd be a great fit on that team. He led the Buccaneers to the playoffs last year. I mean, his arm strength was definitely falling off.
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't have gotten beat down, so to speak, in the offseason, but he would have had to work out a lot harder. I know that's popular. My buddy said it the second the Rodgers injury happened, and like we felt he was done. He goes, "Oh, looks like Tom's coming back." He's a huge Brady fan. He's a fucking fanatic of Tom Brady, and he's like, "Oh, Tom's coming back now." And I'm like, "Oh, big guy, I don't know, man." He's like, "Oh no, Tom's coming. This would be the best fit." And I'm like, "Okay, we'll see, man." I feel you guys. I get it. He like with everything I just described with the defense and all the skill players around him. I guess Dylan, answer the question. After you saw that team last night, do you think that with Rodgers they get to a conference title game? Do you think they would have got to the Super Bowl? I mean, I see some crazy shit going around the internet today. People are crazy, though. People overreact. That's what people do. They're like, oh, after last night, if they had Rodgers, they would have won the Super Bowl. I don't know about all that. Slow down. Dylan, what do you think? How far would they go?
I think if Rodgers stayed healthy, if the injury didn't happen last night, I think the Jets, honestly, I think they make the playoffs as a wild card team, but I don't think they make it any further than a wild card. The team is good. The defense is legit. And honestly, I was excited to see him work with someone like Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson, a phenomenal receiver. I would love to see him work with that. And, I'm not high on Rodgers as a person as a player, anything like that. But I was excited for this guy, coming into this new offense, new team, and the unfortunate injury happened. So no matter how much you love or hate a player, for one, you never wish that type of injury on somebody, because I was very excited to see where he went with this team. But now looking at it with Zach Wilson coming in, honestly, the replacement that you could possibly bring in, I don't even think that Robert Saleh takes the team away from Zach Wilson. It doesn't matter what replacement, unlike maybe a Tom Brady. If Tom Brady comes in, obviously you start him over Zach Wilson. But I know other replacements I can think of. I know that this is a very long shot right here. I know Kaepernick, he said his agent reached out to the Jets. I don't know if they'll reach back out to his agent. I know that Jameis Winston could be and some other name from New Orleans. He is that backup, but I know Taysom could take that backup spot, and Jake Haener is going to serve a suspension, so he won't be out the entire season. So losing Jameis is not a total loss if somehow they do make a trade happen. I would love to get some sort of pick for Jameis. Honestly, I know Carson Wentz is available, but honestly, I think this is Zach Wilson's team to lose other than Tom Brady right now. I think Brady would be the only name that if he goes to New York, he would be the starter. But honestly, Zach Wilson's the guy now. But with Zach Wilson, I sadly don't see him as a playoff team no more. And it's unfortunate. Rodgers would have made a huge impact on that team, and he would have brought him so much further than what Zach Wilson's going to bring him. And now I think they're scheduled for like maybe 4 or 5 more primetime games. Nobody wants to watch Zach Wilson in primetime. It was all about AaronRodgers. So now we have to sit back and watch just whatever they give us. It was a real good feel-good story last night. It was 9/11. It was in the Meadowlands. It was such a great time, and it was honestly a great ending. People want to be the Debbie Downer saying, "Oh, it was a tripping call. They missed a tripping call." Shut up, dude. Like, honestly, don't talk about a tripping call. This was the moment for the Jets, and they walked it off. If they would have called it, they still would have probably kicked the field goal and won the game. But it was more of a feel-good story to see them, the punt return, to walk off. It was so much better that way. So let it be, honestly. But I don't think Zach Wilson brings him that far, sadly.
Yeah, that's fair. I agree. Dango, why don't you answer this question from the First Lady? She says, do you think his career is over? And, kind of let us know where you thought they were going to go.
Honestly, I think he will be back next year. I think this will be a bad sour taste in his mouth to end his career on a torn Achilles tendon. Like, that would be terrible for Rodgers, looking like 1 play in and 4 plays in and your career's over with the Jets. Like, I feel bad for Green Bay. They need him to play 70% to get a first.
Don't ever feel bad for Green Bay.
Still, it's funny. And no, but I don't see Tom coming out. It's funny because on Sunday during halftime, he said, "Oh yeah, I'm back. I'm a Patriot for life." And that's after they announced that he will be in the Patriot Hall of Fame come next summer. And Robert Kraft wavered the 4-year rule to put him in right away.
He's not coming back.
No,
he's got to work out way too hard to make that happen.
Someone said he would have to wait until like week 8 by their bye week. They give him 8 weeks to get into shape.
Yeah. I mean, sure. If they can hold shape and go 4-4 or something, then, maybe, but
no, they got a tough schedule.
I know. They got a real tough schedule. Even with Rodgers, I was thinking they're going to go 2-2. So, I mean, 2-2 would have been nice with Rodgers, but
I think they finished third, and I think they finished last in the division now if Zach stays all year.
Behind New England. Huh.
Yep. New England didn't look that bad going into that. Kendrick Bourne actually looked like Kendrick Bourne from 2 years ago during Mac's rookie season. And Mac looked, besides that dumb pick that got tipped.
Yeah. I mean, on paper, Mac looked like he had a really nice game. I didn't see it, but on paper, it looked really nice.
Yeah, because he played at the same time as you guys. So,
yeah.
And he had just Juju play. He had Juju and 2 rookies. Devontae Parker was out. So he didn't even have Parker yet.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Well, you know what, Dangle? Let's keep it with you, all right? The biggest week 1 surprise. We had a lot of them. We had a lot of week 1 surprises. What was your biggest week 1 surprise?
Cowboys shellacking of the Giants. I thought it was going to be a lot closer.
Okay.
I thought with those weapons, I thought the game would be a lot closer.
Yeah, I don't disagree. 40-0. 40-0. 40-0. That's crazy, folks. Dylan, what was your biggest surprise of week one?
So as much as I want to agree with the Cowboys one, because that one caught me by surprise big time. I'm gonna go with Cleveland just dismantling the Bengals, and this is right after Joey B got that big extension from the Bengals, and they also benched him during the game. So that's just absolutely nuts to see Cleveland just destroy Cincinnati. Like Cincinnati, who's a favorite in the AFC, and they get destroyed in Cleveland in the dog pound by the Browns. Honestly, I was seeing, the Browns beating the Bengals. I know Vegas was on them big time on the betting odds, but I know that I did not see this, this absolute blowout happen. This was crazy. So that was my biggest surprise. And honestly, I thought my biggest surprise was going to be Kansas City taking an L in week one with the Super Bowl banner coming down to Detroit. But, dude, honestly, Cleveland surprised the hell out of me.
You guys have good ones, really good ones. That was crazy. The Cleveland beating, I think we all predicted Cleveland last week. I had said if once we get the sheet out, it didn't come out. It'll come out this week on the new website, thefanent.com. Get it at thefanent.com. So the predictions for week 2 will certainly be on there. But I think we all predicted the Browns to win that game, but I don't necessarily know that we all actually had any conviction in the Browns winning that game. And I think we all said the Lions as well, but I don't know that any of us actually believed the Lions would win that game.
Honestly, yeah, I'm pretty sure that was what happened because I went terrible. Tim told me to track how I did left from last week, so I rewatched it, and I was 7-9.
I think I was 10-6, but it definitely could be an easy 9-7. I don't know. But okay, but for me, my biggest week 1 surprise, Los Angeles Rams beating down the Seattle Seahawks. It's crazy. You have no Cooper Kupp. You got Cam Akers getting 20 rushes and averaging 1.2 yards a carry. I mean, that's crazy. Kyron Williams behind him didn't do much better. You get 37 rushes out of your running backs and don't get 100 yards rushing. That's wild stuff. What do? You got Sean McVay there, who's the genius. The defense played really well. Again, they won 30-13. Matthew Stafford threw for 334 yards. He just peppered the hell out of Tutu Atwell and Puka Nacua. That's if you watch Rotoslavers last night, Puka is Street's biggest waiver wire target ever. If you play fantasy football, go out and look for Puka. He's only owned in 3% of leagues right now. He is he got 15 targets in that game yesterday. He caught 10 balls. Between the two of them, they caught 15 balls or 18 balls for they each had 119 yards. So it's 238 yards. I mean, my God, who expected that? So if they can just figure out creative ways to get those kind of guys the ball, who knows? I mean, they're going to San Francisco this week. They're 8.5-point dogs. We'll talk about that. But hey, who the hell thought the Rams were going out there and just going to shellac Seattle? A lot of people had Seattle going back to the playoffs this year. Seattle had a great draft and a nice offseason. 30-13 Rams. It's going to be interesting to see where the Rams go. I forgot who said it, but somebody said they think the Rams will go 9-8, 10-7, and I was like, "You're crazy, But I digress. Let's see what we got in the comments. KPG, what's good, my guy? Faction Cast podcast went 12-4 in both my pick'em leagues. Nice job. That's a good week. And all right, I guess we got one more thing, and then we're gonna get into our picks. Bold prediction for the season after week 1. So one bold prediction for the season after week 1. Dylan, I'll start with you this time. What would be your bold prediction?
So this may be a major overreaction, but from what I've seen, I think the Dolphins win the AFC East.
Wow.
But yes, it's the Chargers. We know the Chargers are not a fantastic team. No matter what talent is around them, it's still the Chargers. So the Dolphins went.
We get them this week on Sunday night.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and the Dolphins went all the way to LA and had a fantastic game. Tua went off, Tyreek went off. Man, that combo is deadly, and they have a good team. So honestly, I think Josh Allen, the way he played against the Jets, yes, I know, the moral behind of what yesterday was and whatnot, but he looked awful. He had 3 interceptions to the same guy, and honestly,
Yo,
that guy earned
he gave Jordan Whitehead. He single-handedly paid Jordan Whitehead
Yeah.
$250,000 because he had a bonus that if he got 3 interceptions on the season, he would get $250K. He got 3 last night.
That's wild, man.
The
That's
manicures,
crazy.
baby. The manicures,
Yeah.
baby.
That's crazy. But yeah, I think the Dolphins win the AFC East. Honestly, I think they look so good, but I don't know their schedule, so I don't know. This could be a major overreaction, but from what I've seen, honestly, I can book them as the AFC champ. I mean, the AFC East champions right now.
Love it. Dango, I'll go to you next, bro. What do you got? What's your bold prediction for the season after week 1?
I think I said it earlier that the Jets finished last in the AFC East.
Okay. So we got first in the AFC East. We got a last in the AFC East. My bold prediction. JD, are you here? I hope you're still here. This is a big old bold prediction. But maybe, just maybe, the team with all the talent in the world finally gets it to click and put together. My bold prediction is the Dallas Cowboys win the NFC East, win a couple playoff games, and get to the NFC title game. That's all I'll go with for right now. But they'll go to the NFC title game, and that's my bold prediction. That's how good the Cowboys looked. Because if they can put it all together, then we're good to go. So the Dallas Cowboys are going to win the NFC East and get to the NFC title game. How you doing? Faction Cast. Bold prediction. Carson Wentz signs with the Jets and leads them to the playoffs. Carson Wentz. I love your bold prediction, though. I love your bold prediction. That's why it's called what? A bold prediction. Eli, my brother, what is good, my guy? He says it'll come down to the Dolphins and Bills for the AFC East crown. Yeah, no doubt. JD, oh my God. Play the lotto, too. I'm just saying, listen, maybe Trey Lance, we talked about this many times. You've heard me say these words. Trey Lance could be the guy that motivates Dak. Dak was sitting there on a king's throne ready to get paid again for not doing anything. Now you got Trey Lance behind him. Again, I know Trey Lance is nothing yet. All right. When you got that guy behind you in practice every day, the coaches maybe giving him some special treatment. He might just get an extra rep or two. Man, all right, that motivates you. So maybe, and I know Tony Pollard did a great game. That defense, whoa, like I said, 7 sacks, just getting after Danny Dimes. But I'm thinking Dallas is looking good. I took Dallas to the title game last year, and I was wrong. This year, maybe, just maybe. Bold prediction: Dak wins MVP. Now that is a bold prediction, Eli. That is a bold prediction. NFC East, maybe. NFC title, Jesus. That's right, KPG. You're a big Cowboys fan, too. I'm feeling it. The NFC is dog crap outside of Philadelphia and San Francisco. So why can't Dallas put it all together and make that next move? That's what I'm thinking. JD's bold prediction, Eagles will not make it to the NFC title game. I think a lot of people will figure out the Eagles' offense and stop Hurts. Okay.
I think New England figured it out for a while there. They kept going 3 and out.
I dig it. Now, gentlemen, without further ado, let's get to the reason why we're here, right? For our picks. For week 2, I can't believe week 2. This is the season. The NFL season's crazy. We beg and plead and pray for it to get here and do our fantasy drafts and make our season predictions and our award predictions. Think about injuries. Who we want to make our 53s. And then we get here and it just flies by. Going into week 2, Thursday Night Football. We were just talking about them. Huge game for them. their home opener this week. I think our guy Bakley from Cage My IQ is going. Check out Cage My IQ for sure. And go over on the Fighters First and get some Cage My IQ merch, man. That hoodie is awesome.
Honestly, yeah, it's a nice hoodie.
Yeah, I'm grabbing myself a big old 3X for the fall myself, and I'm gonna wear that all over the place, man. It's a nice hoodie. But we got opening night for home opener for the Eagles. The Minnesota Vikings, who lost 20-17 again to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield. What? Go to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles, who are 7-point favorites in this game. I'll start this time. The Eagles and Minnesota. I said it last week when we were making our picks. I said I think that they're going to have. I'm a big believer in first-year head coach syndrome, meaning you get your first-year head coach, Kevin O'Connell last year, Brian Dable last year. Those guys come in, they motivate the team. They're better because it's a different voice in that locker room. Now, year two is a much different story. I think the Minnesota Vikings fall off completely year two. Eagles, give it to them in this game. And by give it to them, I mean like 23-17. Dylan, what do you got, bro?
So real quick, before I make my pick, I'd like for you to go up to the comments a little bit. Nick commented one for a bold prediction that I wanted to get up there, and it's one I like a lot.
I'm so sorry I missed this.
There we go. That's what I like to see.
First of all, I'm sorry I missed your comment, Nick. I apologize. Yeah,
that's what I like to see.
I know you didn't miss that, Dylan. I know you didn't miss that.
Oh no, I saw that one big time. But yeah, now for this game, I think it's the Eagles. The link is gonna be wild. It's a Thursday night. Yeah, during the week doesn't matter. It's prime time. It's the first game in the link all season. And I think Eagles fans are rowdy. Honestly, the Eagles fans, from my experience in the Dome, are one of the worst fan bases in the league. And it's not even close because they start fights for everything. But honestly, I think for one, the Vikings made me believe last season. And last week, honestly, they took all that from me already from that loss to Baker Mayfield. I'm not believing in Baker just yet. But I think the Eagles win by a good margin. I think they win by at least, I'll say 17. They beat them by.
So they shellac them. There we go.
Big time.
They shellac them. Dango, what you got, brother?
I think they beat them I think the Eagles win by 10.
Okay.
Cool. They start 2-0.
Love it. Yeah, they're
nice and easy.
Best team in the conference on paper, no doubt. Let's keep it moving. Let's get to Sunday. We got the Raiders going to Buffalo to take on the Bills, who are 0-1 after Josh Allen had a putrid, and I mean horrendous, showing on Monday Night Football. 3 interceptions, a fumble. This man my God, I don't know what happened to this man. Brian Dable. Maybe it was Brian Dable that happened to this man. Brian Dable leaves. Quarterback guru, which is why I wanted him in Chicago so badly. Brian Dable leaves. He goes to New York. He helps Daniel Jones get better last year. I don't know. This man has just really not been playing good football since Brian Dable's been gone. Is the Raiders the bounce back for them? Dylan, what do you think?
So before I pick the Bills, I want to thank the Raiders last week for beating Sean Payton and the Broncos. And for one, I'm a slight fan of Sean Payton now. He did walk out on us. I feel like he did walk out. He quote unquote retired, but then came back the next season for the right price at Denver. And it's so funny that our former kicker was the reason why the Raiders won. Will Lutz, he missed a PAT and he missed a 50-yard field goal to secure the Raiders victory. So us going with the rookies not looking so bad right now with Blake Grupe, and he did fantastic in the game against Tennessee. But I'm taking the Bills. I think the Bills bounce back in this game. I think they clear up any woes that they had in this game against the Jets, and I think Josh Allen has a better performance against the Raiders in their home opener. So yeah, I'm gonna take the Bills. I'm not sure if they covered at 9.5, but it's gonna be a good one for sure.
Okay, Dango, what about you, bro?
I got the Bills bouncing back, but I also see it being a very close game with those two offenses.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and I'm with you guys. The Bills definitely win this game. They moved to 1-1 for sure. I do think that they covered the spread. The first game, the Raiders, Jacoby Myers had a great debut with the Raiders. He had 86 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jimmy Garoppolo looked pretty good. He had, it was very efficient passing as always. I think it was like 20 for 26, 200 yards passing. They look good on the ground as well. This Buffalo's going to be too good in this game. They're going to be pissed off from Monday night, and I think that they win this game by like 14, 2 touchdowns, like 24-10, something like that. They're going to really show up for their fans. So I got Buffalo. Let's go to a big game, a big AFC North game. The Bengals are already 0-1. They cannot go to 0-2 in this division, in this AFC. We have talked about how good the AFC North is. We've talked about how good this conference is. The Ravens go to Baltimore. They are 3.5-point dogs. Last time these two teams played was in the playoffs last year. And you got to remember, the Ravens were on their backup quarterback. If the Ravens had Lamar, and at one point they were beating Cincinnati. If the Ravens had Lamar, it might have been a real different game. 3.5-point dogs. I'm going to start with this one. I think Baltimore wins this game. I'm going to take the Ravens. And I just don't think Joe Burrow's completely healthy yet, which might be a problem. And that really scared me going into the year. The injury scared me. Him starting the season, I was really perplexed. I thought they might just like try to let him go into the bye week. I know it's week 8. That's a while away. But, man, I don't know. Putting him out there with the injury, it's scary. I'm going to take the Ravens in an upset this week, and they're going to +3. I'm going to hit that +3.5 by a half point, take it to +4, and see what happens on Sunday for sure. Dylan, what about you?
So, yeah, I'm for one also going to go with the Ravens. You know, and much as I love Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, you know, former Saints like Trey Hendrickson and others on that team, you know, I'm not sure if Joe's healthy. You know, the quarterback's always the heart and soul of that offense. I don't think he's fully healthy yet. And sadly, I think Zach Taylor's putting him out there, and he's not healthy fully. So I think that really hurts that Bengals offense. And I don't think they really show up, because they didn't show up whatsoever in Cleveland. I think they show up a little bit more. I think he has more than 80-something passing yards than what he had in Cleveland. But I think this Ravens team is really good, and if they get Mark Andrews back, which I'm pretty sure they will, hopefully for my fantasy team, he comes back. But yeah, I think Baltimore gets this win. They go 2-0, and honestly, the Bengals starting off 0-2. That's not looking good for my prediction for them going, you know, as far as the AFC Championship game.
The guy who runs his show, mock draft guy, Peter, he's got the Bengals winning the Super Bowl. So
wow.
I mean, doesn't bode well for his prediction either. No. And I just want to say, rookie Zay Flowers showed out in this game. 8 receptions, 97 yards, touchdown, I believe. That's good production. Showed he is that number 1 wide receiver who could be on the opposite side. Seems like, depends, whatever they're calling, with Mark Andrews. Dango, who you got in this game?
I also had the Ravens, and I'm kind of PO because I got Joe Burrow in our fantasy league for the Fanatics Bloodline. I meant Fanatics Fantasy Football League. It's kind of hard to name it, but it's fine. But I have him and Chase, and they both shit the bed because Joe Burrow was terrible, and it's making me regret not taking CMC.
CMC balled out.
Yeah.
Round alone. Yes, he did. He was and if you remember, if you go back and watch Roto Snipers, you talk about fantasy football going into the year, Street said his fantasy football MVP was going to be Jamar Chase. And I said, sometimes you just got to stick to the basics. If I had first overall pick in a fantasy football draft, I was taking Christian McCaffrey. He's on a great team with a great offense. He's going to get a bunch of touches. Best running back in the league still, bar none. This game, probably the game of the weekend. Kansas City Chiefs going to Jacksonville to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jacksonville Jaguars are 3-point dogs at home. Intriguing game. Very intriguing game. They matched in the playoffs last year. And the Chiefs beat them after Jacksonville came back and from 28, what was it? They were down 28 points. They came back and beat the Chargers. We talked about that last week. This one's going to be tough. Oh, man. I don't want to pick it first. Daniel, you pick this one first. Let's go to you. You can pick it first.
God damn it. Depending. If Kelsey plays, Chiefs. But if Kelsey doesn't play, Jaguars. So I think I'm going. They might change by the time Tim has that sheet up. But as of right now, I'm going Chiefs.
Okay, Dylan, what about you?
So we just did bold prediction for the season. I'm doing a bold prediction for week 2. I'm taking Jacksonville to beat Kansas City. Kansas City starting off the season 0-2. Honestly, Jacksonville looks good. Trevor Lawrence is playing great. He has a good offense around him. Calvin Ridley, what a game from this guy. First game in that uniform, he looked fantastic. I honestly think that he goes off on this defense, and the Jaguars start off 2-0, and they upset the Super Bowl champs.
My God. Yeah, man. That's where I was leaning too. 2 weeks in a row, I'm picking against the Chiefs. That's crazy sauce to me. Calvin Ridley did ball out. A little concerning, Christian Kirk. He was only on the field 27% of their offensive snaps, only had 3 targets. That was like really weird to me. Man, I don't know. I really liked the Jags coming into the season. The Chiefs' offense looked not good. If Kelsey doesn't play, which I don't anticipate him playing, I don't anticipate the offense getting any better. They got Chris Jones back, which again is a little selfish to me. He was just sitting there in the booth watching his team play. I get it, big man. Get your money, get paid. But like, how you just watching your squad play football in a booth? That's crazy to me. He's a difference maker, though. Him just being on the field is going to be a huge difference on that defense. Fuck it, though. Give me the Jaguars in this. Oh, man. I went like 2.5 shows without swearing. I was so close. Give me the Jaguars. For sure. Let's keep this going. We got the Los Angeles Chargers going to Nashville to take on the Titans. Titans are 3-point favorites. Titans are traveling from the far west to the East Coast. I'll start with this one, I guess. It's a tough game, honestly. There's a lot in me that wants to take the Titans in this game. I really do. But Ryan Tannehill looked like such poo-poo in that game against the Saints. I just don't know that I have any belief in him or that team, which scares me about that offense. My second bold prediction was going to be that Brandon Staley got fired during the middle of the season and Kellen Moore took over the team. So maybe the Chargers do lose this game. Just out of spite, I'm going to go ahead and take the Titans. I'm going to take the Titans here. And no, I can't do it. The Titans, no, I'm going to take the Chargers. Give me the Chargers in this game. The Chargers bounce back. They go across country and they win. And they'll go to 1-1. That's my prediction for sure. Dylan, what about you?
So for one, I think DeAndre Hopkins is going to have a bounce back game, even though he did catch for over 60 yards. And that went and for one, a lot of those yards came from whenever Marshawn Lattimore was not on him. And, for what Marshawn Lattimore, from my perspective, is known to shut down those big receivers. And he had that great matchup with DeAndre Hopkins. And he shut him down for the most part, even got an interception off of him. But I think whenever someone like a Lattimore is not covering him, I'm not familiar with the Charger secondary by any means, but I think the Chargers bounce back. Ryan Tannehill had a bad game against the Saints. And for one, the Saints defense, is very good, and it's something that I'm not used to. The Saints having a good defense, but for one, we've been having a good defense since like 2016 on up. So honestly, I think the Chargers bounce back from their game against the Dolphins. And they beat Tennessee. Tennessee does start 0-2. And for one, my prediction of the Will Levis taking over for Tannehill is starting to get better and better. Even though Malik is the backup right now and Levis is the third stringer, I think he moves up a little bit more and he takes that starting spot. So my prediction is going to get better and better as we go on. And I think Tannehill struggles again and the Chargers bounce back.
Dig it. What about you, Dango?
I also have the Chargers bouncing back and getting a win. Yes, J.C. Jackson was the cornerback last week that got destroyed by Tyreek Hill. Because I watched the ESPN. I'm not surprised. He was ass. That's why Belichick didn't want to pay his ass.
Yeah, he had a good season. He had a good season or two and then fell off for sure. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, he was terrible last year, so I'm not surprised he got destroyed by Tyreek. So I think the Chargers are too much for the Titans, and I think the Chargers pick up a win.
Yeah, I dig it. We got another close matchup on paper. Green Bay Packers, 1-0 Green Bay Packers. They beat the holy hell out of my Bears. They go to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. The Falcons are 3-point dogs in this matchup. Packers are 3-point road favorites. Dylan, who you got winning this matchup?
Keeping the fingers crossed that Green Bay goes over there and beats them. I'm taking the Packers, and it's all because of rivalry. I don't care who plays, who doesn't play. I'm taking Green Bay to take down Atlanta. We need them to take that loss in the NFC South to keep on going up in that division. We're currently third, I think, because of the points that we scored. and because of how well the NFC South did this past weekend. But, the Falcons look good. Bijan Robinson looked fantastic, but it was Carolina. So let's see how he does against, Green Bay and, and for one against like the better defenses. So, but I'm going to take the Packers to go 2-0.
Dango?
I also got the Packers going 2-0.
Okay.
Also picking up the win and showing that maybe, just maybe, Jordan Love is for real, and the Green Bay's just lucky with backup quarterbacks.
I'd love to take Atlanta in this game, but after what I saw on Sunday, and the Bears might just be a really, really, really bad team, but I don't particularly think Atlanta's a good team. What happened last Sunday was Matt LaFleur outcoached the hell out of Matt Eberflus, and Arthur Smith is on the level of Matt Eberflus. So if Matt LaFleur is just going to be out coaching coaches this year because he doesn't have a great quarterback, then I'm going to watch Matt LaFleur just out coach people and want to throw up doing it, because he was like the big knock on their team. But he won the matchup on Sunday. He is the reason that they performed the way they did on Sunday. Aaron Jones looked fantastic. I know he's injured now. So, we'll see what happens there. A.J. Dillon, though, is a fantastic running back. I think they'll probably get Christian Watson back this week. It really all comes down to health. Listen, if Christian Watson doesn't play and Aaron Jones doesn't play and Romeo Doubs doesn't play, then I'm likely going to change my pick to Atlanta, because who the hell is going to be on Green Bay's offense? If they have their players healthy, then I like Green Bay in this game. Jordan Love looked really good on third down, and that was very disappointing to see. But likely I'm taking Green Bay. Seahawks, Detroit. Two great off seasons. I thought two of the best drafts this past off season. Seattle again losing 30-13 to the Rams at home was just wild to me. Detroit went on the road and meet Campbell and ruined the celebration for the Chiefs. They won 21-20. This crowd's going to be crazy. It's the first time Ford Field has sold season tickets out ever. So for me, this is a pretty easy Detroit win. Dylan, what about you?
Yeah, I'm also taking the Lions, and also I was going to bring up the Ford Field. They sold their season tickets out, and yeah, the Lions fans are going to come out full force, and the Seahawks are honestly, I think they probably look worse than what they did against the Rams. And that's saying a lot right there about the Seahawks team. I was high on Geno coming into this season, and they looked horrible against the Rams team that I didn't think was going to do anything this season, and they surprised the hell out of me. But the Lions are going to look so good in this game. They look great against Kansas City in Kansas City. So now they're playing at home in front of this crowd. Yeah, give me the Lions.
Dig it. What up, Kayla? How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. And what up, Marcus? Thanks for tuning in, brother. Appreciate you for tuning in. Our girl. What's good? All right. Dango, who you got?
I also have the Lions. I think the Lions win big, and then maybe Geno does suck.
Yeah,
he
last
just
year
got lucky.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Money year. He got his money, and now he's gonna suck.
Let's keep this train rolling. Battle of AFC South dwellers, basement of the AFC South. We got the Colts taking on the Texans, a couple of 0-1 teams. However, Anthony Richardson did look pretty good in defeat last week, but Colts are 1-point favorites in Houston. I like the Colts in this game. I do. I'm going to take the Colts to beat the Texans. What about you, Dylan?
Yeah, I'm going with the Colts also. They look good against Jacksonville. And also it was at home, so of course they had that home crowd behind him. Anthony Richardson looked fantastic, getting a rushing touchdown also in his debut. So yeah, give me the Colts. I think it's going to be a nice rookie showdown between him and CJ Stroud. The Texans did surprise me with how good they looked against Baltimore. But yeah, give me the Colts. I think they bounce back from their loss against the Jaguars.
Okay. Dango?
I think the Colts pick up the win, and Anthony Richardson showed that he can throw the ball and also run. He's got a lot better accuracy than what we thought. So I think the Colts win in this one in the battle of rookie quarterbacks.
Okay. Yeah, his arms talent was a lot better than a lot of people thought going into the year. So that was great to see. Let's keep going. Bears. They suck. They go to Tampa Bay to take on the Buccaneers, who beat the Vikings, and they're 3-point favorites against the Bears. I expected us to be 1-0, them to be 0-1, us to be 3-point favorites in this game. My God, what has happened in 2 days? How crazy is this? I'll start with you guys first. Dylan, I'll start with you. Who do you got, Bears or Bucks?
So Raymond James is going to look a lot different. You know, Tom's not there no more. We got Baker there, so I don't think they're as rowdy as what they were whenever Tom was there. So I think Justin Fields and the Bears bounce back from their loss against the Packers. It was that rivalry showdown. No one expected the Packers to look as good as they did with Jordan Love. It was a big surprise to everyone by any means, but honestly, I think the Bears bounce back. Their offense gets rolling, their defense looks better, and I think they honestly showed that Baker Mayfield was just that one game wonder in playing against Minnesota. So I think the Bears bounce back and they get the W.
Okay. All right. Dango, who you got?
I also have the Bears bouncing back and getting the W because I think that they target DJ Moore because last week they didn't.
Last week they did nothing. Last week was the most putrid thing I've ever seen in my life. It was like that gif where they take off the mask and it's like, oh, yep, same old thing. Or like that guy who got a new sweater and it's like, oh, my new Christmas or my new sweater for Christmas. And it's the exact same sweater, that like old Italian looking guy. This team, this offense, my God, this offense regressed in ways I couldn't expect it to regress. The play calling regressed in ways I couldn't expect it to regress. Chase Claypool is just the drizzling crap of life. He is out there just not blocking. He's out there not running routes hard. He's out there dropping passes. The offensive line had 3 guys PFF rated 7 or under. 7. Single digits. 7 or under. And I'll sit here and I'll rag on Justin Fields because the kid did not have a good football. He did not play a good game at all. There was no vertical passing, which makes me think maybe Luke Getsy and the offensive coordinator doesn't think that he can pass vertically, which is very concerning to me. But there also wasn't any designed runs. His runs all came when the pocket collapsed and he had to run. So where are the designed runs? Why aren't we throwing the ball downfield? When he had a clean pocket, he was like 16 for 21 for 180 yards. I mean, yes, give any NFL quarterback a clean pocket and they should throw the ball well. But at the end of the day, I walked out of that stadium very upset with Justin Fields' performance. But like, you know,
burn the jersey?
No, hell no. Not yet. But sometimes when you watch a game live, and I was in the 9th row, but in the end zone, so you don't like see everything. His performance, I guess. I know Peter, mock draft guy, would be like, he thinks he sucks, but his performance wasn't as bad as maybe I thought it was while I was there live. But because the offensive line was just so bad. It was just so bad. But they need to scheme better. They need to play call better. And they need to get him in design runs. They need to run him. Run bootlegs. Get him out of the pocket. Run quarterback draws. Like run plays for his skill set. I don't know what they were doing this week. It was bad. And I don't know why I'm doing this right now. And it's not because I'm a fan. I'm doing it because I actually think they're going to win this game. And I don't want to pick them. I don't. They pissed me off so bad that I'm done already. 1 week in and I'm done already with this team. But I think they're going to win this game. I think the Buccaneers are not a good football team. I don't think we're a good football team. But I think like you guys said, like Dylan, you said, I think that we're going to put it together a little bit this week. Mm-hmm. I think that Luke Getsy, just like he did last year after week 2, Justin Fields came out week 3 and looked like a different guy. I think we make that adjustment after week 1 this week. And like, oh, shit. That was our preseason game that we probably should have did in the preseason. We're playing football now, and we're going to see adjustments and go from there. Because Luke Getsy was a head coaching candidate this offseason. So you can't go from head coaching candidate to do what I saw on Sunday. Give me the Bears. Ugh, gross. Giants.
Oh, Bears.
Another gross game. Cardinals are 5.5-point underdogs. They're at home. Joshua Dobbs is their starting quarterback. I'll just keep talking with this one. Giants better bounce back, or that fan base is going to go nuts. Give me the Giants. Dylan?
Yeah, the Giants have to bounce back. I seen videos from the crowd. It wasn't pretty. I seen people taking their jerseys off, throwing them, leaving them in MetLife. It was an ugly scene Sunday night, and it was pissing down rain as well. So they were getting blown out by 40, and they were getting rained on at the same time. So yeah, I got a feel for that, for that fan base. The Giants got to bounce back, and the Cardinals look better than what we expected them to look. We expected the Commanders to destroy the Cardinals, and it was a closer game. So I think it's a close game, but I think it's a low scoring game. The Giants didn't score a thing. Cardinals, I believe, scored maybe 16, I think, in their game against the Commanders. It'll be low scoring, but the Giants get the win. I'm not sure if they'll cover, but it's going to be close.
I like that. Low scoring for sure, like 16-13 or some shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dango, what about you, bro?
I also have the Giants. So I think it's going to be a very close game, like you guys said. If Josh Dobbs plays like that again for the Cardinals, they might be in business. He was actually really good.
Crazy. Maybe crazy. Giants better have a bounce back game, or that fan base is going to go bonkers. 49ers and Rams. It's a rivalry game. Rams are 8-point dogs at home. I don't know. I might look into that this weekend. Coming off a big road win against Seattle. Well, I'm going to take San Francisco here just because. But, man, I don't know. There's a little bit in me that's like really liking those 8 points, though. What about you, Dylan?
So, yeah, I picked against the 49ers last week, and I learned my lesson. There's not a chance that I pick against them this week. And I know I said last week, about the Rams, the whole no-call thing, I never pick against them. I'm not going to use that theory this week because they looked really good against the Seahawks. I'm not sure about that 8-point thing right there. I think it's going to be a closer game. The Rams look honestly really good. So I'm going to look into that number as well this weekend if it stays at that number. But I'm going to take the 49ers. I learned my lesson. And, I think it's going to be a really good NFC West showdown.
Dig it. Dango. Who you got, bro?
I also got the 49ers, and CMC continues his torrid pace. Rushing for another 120.
Make your boy look good right here. Make your boy look good. I love it. Let's keep this train rolling. Jets, Jets. They travel to Dallas. They take on the Cowboys. Cowboys are 8.5-point favorites in this one, which I thought was kind of a high number based on the Jets defense.
Mm-hmm.
Cowboys win this game, but that's a number that I like. The Jets defense looked really good against Buffalo. I think this is going to be like a 20-13 game, something along. I think maybe Dallas only scores 16, 17 points, and it's like 17-13 because likewise the Jets can't put the ball in the end zone. So give me Dallas here. What about you, Dylan?
Yeah, I think that Cowboys defense really, really does wonders for them again this week. Last week, I think fantasy-wise, they got about 30, 40-something points. So, yeah, I think against Zach Wilson, that defense absolutely shines. And absolutely, breaks my heart to pick the Cowboys. I hate picking the Cowboys. I can't stand them as a team. But Zach Wilson, I can't trust him. Even though they got that big win against the Bills yesterday, I can't trust him. That defense is going to be good, but I know the Cowboys defense is really good as well. They look good. Yes, it was Daniel Jones. Yes, it was the Giants. But it doesn't matter. They're playing another New York team. I think the Cowboys at home get that win. But that number is also pretty interesting. I also may look into that because 8.5.
Yeah, man. I could see them just sack it because that offensive line is so bad. So I could just see Micah Parsons and the crew just wrecking havoc on Zach Wilson. He throws like 4 interceptions, and maybe that's where that number is coming from. We end up seeing like a 34-7 type of game. I don't know, man. 8.5 points with that kind of a defense is a big – like their Cowboys defense would have to force the turnovers to create those points. Like Dallas's offense isn't scoring that on the Jets defense. That's what I'm getting at there. What about you, Dingo? What you got?
I also had the Cowboys winning this game and winning big.
That's fair. That's fair for sure. All right, let's go. We got 3 games to go. Last game of the Sunday 3:00 slate. We got the Commanders.
There's one more. There's 2 Monday night games. There's 2 Monday night games and a
for the Sunday 3:00 slate. Is that a Sunday night game? Is that a Monday night game?
No, my bad.
No, all right. We got the Commanders taking on the Broncos. Broncos are 3.5-point favorites coming off their loss to Vegas. Commanders are 1-0 coming off their win against Arizona. Dylan, who you got winning this game?
Yeah, I think Denver bounces back. This Russell Wilson, Sean Payton thing is going to work out sooner or later. It fell short against Vegas, but I think against the Commanders, they come out shining. And I honestly think they bounce back at home. So I think they look good.
Yeah, they should have been 2-0 coming off of these two games. They were licking them fingers thinking they would be 2-0 coming off of those games. Dango! Who's winning the last game of the 3 o'clock hour?
Broncos.
my man. I'm with you guys here. This is a must-win game. They cannot start off 0-2 under the Sean Payton and Russ era. If they do, there's going to be some problems, man. There's going to be some chatter going on in Denver if there isn't already chatter going on them Denver sports airwaves. But I got the Broncos too. The Broncos bounce back. They go to 1-1 for sure. Let's keep it going. Dango, this is the game you were looking for. Sunday Night Football. The Miami Dolphins take on the New England Patriots. Patriots are just 2.5-point underdogs at home. This will be a fun one. Dylan, I'll start with you this time.
So to keep my little bold prediction going, I got to pick the Dolphins. The Dolphins looked so good last week against the Chargers. Tua and Tyreek Hill, I think they continue this dominance together. I'm not sure if they'll go for the same dominance they did. If we want, near 500 yards for Tua and, well over 200 for Tyreek, I think they get to over the 100-yard receiving mark for Tyreek. And I'm, probably around the 300-yard mark, probably a little over for Tua. I think he looks good. And I got the Dolphins winning in Foxborough.
Yeah, I'm with you, Dylan. I too have the Dolphins winning in Foxborough. It's not going to be a cold night in Foxborough.
It might be a windy night because we got Hurricane Lee in our forecast.
But it's not snowing and it's not 20 degrees.
I gotta go look at those hurricane tips.
So the weather isn't going to hurt him as bad as it would if this game was in Foxborough in December. If the home games were flipped when they were playing each other, Dolphins win this game for sure. I think they win it with ease, probably 10 points. Dango,
I got the Patriots. I think the ground game controls it, and they try to keep Chulo off the field because that's going to be the only way they're going to win this game.
Yeah, no doubt.
They're gonna have to do a 2-pound running attack, which worked until Zeke fumbled the ball, and that's not good for a Belichick defense because Belichick hates you the minute you start fumbling.
Yeah, if you're a running back that fumbles under Belichick, you're not going to have a job for very long. That is for damn sure. But all right, 2 of us got Dolphins, 1 of us got Pats. Patriots fan goes with the Pats. That makes a lot of sense. And now the Monday Night Football game. We got the New Orleans Saints traveling to Carolina to take on the Panthers. Panthers are 3-point dogs at home. I'll start with this one. I don't know why this is the Monday Night Football game of the week 2 of the football season. I can't grasp it. I don't understand it. I guess maybe we get to see rookie Bryce Young on the main stage, center stage. Panthers just aren't a good football team. And I'm banking on them not being a good football team and getting that draft pick this year. Give me the Saints. Dango, what do you got?
I also picked the Saints.
Okay. And you know who we're finishing it with?
Of course, yeah.
We know Dill's gonna pick the Saints, so we might as well just move on.
So I'm obviously taking the Saints, but the Saints do struggle with rookie quarterbacks. They're known to struggle with rookie quarterbacks. It's in our history to struggle with the rookie quarterback, but honestly, the Saints defense looks a lot better than when they do play these rookies, and I think they perform well against Bryce Young. I think we see that continued dominance on that D-line by Cameron Jordan, by Carl Granderson. I think we see Isaiah Foskey, our second-round pick, finally make his debut. He was a healthy scratch. Was a huge head scratcher for me because we started Peyton Turner, but now Peyton Turner played 7 snaps, and he's made of glass, so he's going to be out for quite some time. And now my big question is that offensive line, and we've seen Trevor Penning get absolutely dominated by Arden Key, and it was a sack fest for Arden Key for Derek Carr. I hope they make the necessary adjustments. I hope they moved James Hurst to left tackle. They put Andrus Peat, who I'm his biggest criticizer, Andrus Peat. He's another one who I feel like is also made of glass. This guy gets hurt on a daily. but I think he's a good offensive lineman when healthy. He was paid for a reason. So I think you move him to left guard. And honestly, I really think that we come out looking better than what we did than when we played Tennessee. I think Derek Carr has a lot better game than where we've seen against Tennessee. He had to shake the nerves. It's his first game under the Superdome lights with this team in the regular season. We've seen one series from him against Kansas City in preseason. So really, I think the Saints look better. I think Michael Thomas has a better receiving day, even though everything coming his way was getting caught. I think Rashid Shaheed continues to shine. Chris Olave possibly goes over 100 again and continues to prove that he's one of the better rookies. And this is nothing on Garrett Wilson, because I think he's fantastic as well. But I think that Chris Olave should have been in that conversation for Rookie of the Year, and he wasn't, which is crazy. But I think the Saints offense continues to shine, and they look really good. And we may see the debut for the regular season of Kendre Miller. So that's another thing to add in there. Jamal Williams was basically doing it all by himself in the running game, and he didn't really look great. But also we're talking about the front seven of the Titans that we're talking about, and they look good. So Kendre Miller, Jamal Williams, I think they're a good duo, and we're getting closer to that debut of Alvin Kamara. The next game against Green Bay is the last game without him. So honestly, the Saints offense looks good, but they're going to look even better when we get Alvin Kamara back in there.
Yeah, no doubt. What's up, Bakley? Check out Cage My IQ. He says the lack of weapons is showing in Carolina. Yeah, no doubt. Bakley, throw your website in there where they can go and get a Cage My IQ hoodie. I was talking about those earlier, man. Those things are those look very comfortable. Very comfortable. But that's it. We ran through all 16 games.
Oh, we got one more game left.
What did I miss?
You got the Browns and the Steelers. Browns and Steelers.
Oh, maybe I missed a couple. Or maybe ESPN didn't give them to me. All right, which two? What are the last two?
You got the Browns and the Steelers.
All right. So where are they?
Yeah, we got 2 Monday night games.
2 Monday night games.
It's the Saints. It's the Saints in the first.
Oh, so they did. So they usually do that week 1. Why are they doing that week 2?
I don't know.
Oh shit, my bad.
They wanted Rodgers and Allen to have the only game.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's really silly. Wait, so I missed 2 games or I missed 1 game?
Just one. I think you missed just one.
You said I missed 2 games, Dango. Why?
Missed?
You're all over the place, bro. You are all over the place. Browns and the Steelers. Browns are 2.5. Wow. The Browns are 2.5 point road favorites. Crazy. So, Dylan, who you got in that game?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Cleveland to just continue that dominance. They surprised the hell out of everybody, and for Pittsburgh to take that beating that they did, it's gonna continue. So I'm going with Cleveland. They look good, and I really think they covered that spread. 2.5. I think that's crazy for Pittsburgh to take that big of a beating. It don't matter if it's Monday night and it's over there in Pittsburgh. Cleveland don't care. I think Cleveland comes out swinging and they win by more than what the spread shows.
Man, crazy. The 2 Monday night thing. They did that the first week typically is what they do. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I get 9-11 making Rodgers and Allen the focal point. That makes a ton of sense for sure. Doing it in week 2 with 2 pretty shitty games is very, very wild. I mean, of all the games, you couldn't have picked a better. You couldn't have put Kansas City and Jacksonville. I mean, there's a couple more, right? Weren't there a couple of good ones? Ravens.
There's a lot more.
Ravens and the Bengals would have been fine. Lions and Seahawks, 2 teams fighting for the playoffs last year. I mean, I don't know. Browns Steelers. I get the rivalry. Saints Panthers. Woof. I digress. Dango, who you got winning this game?
The Dogs. I got the Browns.
Okay.
Dog pound.
Yeah, the Browns are a talented team. We talked about that last week. We said the Browns could go 9-8, 10-7. Deshaun Watson's back. If you watch me on Roto Slappers, I've been high on Deshaun Watson all off season. If you watched him at the end of last year, he got his legs back under him. He's got his arms back under. His arm back under him. Dude's talented as all hell. I mean, the team's pretty good around him. I don't see any reason why the Browns couldn't win 10 games this year. I think this is one that they do win, and they go. Most importantly, they go 2-0 in that division, which is one of the hardest divisions in football. So Browns win for sure. And now, Dango, are there any other games that I missed out of the woodwork? Anything else?
No, I think you got them all, but let
Are
me.
you sure? Yeah, I didn't realize they had the 2 Monday night games. I was confused last week why they didn't have the 2 Monday night games. Man, threw me off. But now I think it's fair to say that we are all good with our week 2 picks. And gentlemen, good, my man. I thought so. I thought we were good. That game came out the woodworks, man. It came out of nowhere. Hit me with like an RKO out of nowhere. But this was a lot of fun, just like last week. It was a great time last week talking football with you guys. It was a great time this week talking football with you guys. And just let the people know where they can find you. Dylan, where can people find you, bro?
You can find me on Twitter at @DylanAber_. Football season's here. I love talking Saints. I love just live tweeting during games. I always either trash the team. I love the team. I trash the officials, which is something I do pretty much every single week. A lot of questionable calls against the Saints in the past game. Luckily we still won, but a lot of questionable ones. So of course I have a lot to say on social media. But yeah, go find me on there. Follow me. Love talking football. So, and honestly, it doesn't have to be the Saints. It can be any football. I'll talk whatever. You can find me here on the Fanatics Network every Monday and Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central Time for the Domefield Advantage podcast. We got a big game against Carolina, big NFC South showdown on Monday night. Yes, the guys don't think it's a great game, but of course it's the Saints. I don't care who we play. It's always going to be a great game for me. So yes, catch me tomorrow. I will be talking the Saints and Panthers. It's going to be a fun one. So go check it out.
Awesome.
Hey, Dylan, are you going to have back-to-back next week? Because technically you do your recap on Mondays.
Yeah, I'm going to have to work the schedule. I may have to do a Tuesday recap because I have nothing to recap on Monday. So if the 6 o'clock slot is open on Tuesday, I may have to look into that.
You got it. So definitely open. Definitely open for sure. Cool. Good call. Dango, where can the people find you?
You can find me at SwaggerBomb92, or you can find me at the Bump Boys. But also, more importantly, you could find me tomorrow night on the AEW Dynamite review show. And also, you can find me on Sundays during Outrage and Control with my tag team partner, the writer Chaos Kayla.
My man. You both are doing such great work right here on the Fanatics Network. Appreciate everything you guys are doing. Appreciate you guys coming out with me tonight. Dylan, always a pleasure talking football with you. Always a pleasure talking football with you, Dango, and Peter. Thanks for letting us host your show again. It was a hell of a time tonight. Really appreciate it. And to everyone out there, thank you so much for coming in. The comments were awesome tonight. We appreciate it. To everyone who will watch, thank you so much. Please hit that like button on this video when you do watch it. We really appreciate it. And please hit that subscribe button. Sports, wrestling, entertainment, 7 days a week, multiple shows a day. If you like gaming, we got gaming content on there. Check us out, like, subscribe, hit that little notification bell, get notified every single time we are live. And check out the website. That's right, the website's done. The new website is here. The Fan ENT Sports, wrestling, entertainment. You play fantasy football, Street's got his rankings on there. He's got top 200 rankings. Quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. So what day is today? It's Tuesday. What's Tuesday? It's waiver wire Tuesday. You need to figure out who you're going to pick up on the waiver wires. You got injuries. You got Jonathan Taylor. It's starting to add up. He ain't coming back, right? You're stashing Kyler Murray. You need to fill up. Go over to thefanent.com. Check out Street's waiver wire article, all right? And go back and check out Roto Snipers last night with Streets and Maddie Day. They slayed it, reviewing this past week, talking about everything you need to know about this week in fantasy football. So check out thefanent.com. And right after us, the director's cut with our boy Graydon, the Bin Buster. He'll be talking about the Little Giants. So keep it right here on the Fanatics Network as G does his thing. Gentlemen, that's all I got. I hope you all out there enjoy week 2. This Sunday, we might have a surprise for you. So make sure Sunday around 12 o'clock I mean, we doing it. We're gonna let you know. But Sunday around 12 o'clock, you might want to be tuning into this network. So again, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button because we might be red zoning with you all day long on Sunday. So make sure you hit the like, make sure you hit the subscribe. For Dango, for Dylan, your boy TK,